I think the biggest mistake that I probably made is
when I was 3 weeks into this job.
The first year was definitely a challenge.
All of these fear of failures, as I mentioned before, came in and they were bubbling around me.
Yeah, horrendous. I think it was my first week.
We had a client that gave us about 15, 20 roles, and instead of sharing them with my team, I just worked them all myself and only filled like 4 of them.
Not as many deals I wanted to go through. My weekly GP wasn't where I wanted it to be.
It was like, what have you just done? That was bad. That was a bad day. I think probably almost got sacked that day.
There was a lot of things that went wrong, and then looking back on them and growing from them has allowed me to overcome challenges a lot more quicker.
It was like, that's a bit rubbish in hindsight.
I don't really regret any failure, if I can say that.
I think very rarely a bad result in the long term is negative, because if you learn from it, then it's a positive thing.
I'm not necessarily saying it slowed me down in the long run, but I think I could have probably got better as an individual if I had just actually believed in myself a little more.
And I've never done recruitment before, so I was very nervous that I really want to succeed.
Like, striving for success, I think, is a successful person. I don't think a successful person is being successful.
Yes, when things weren't going right, instead of high-level pressure being on me to do well, it was more hand on the shoulder. How can we help you? How can we support? How can we help you overcome these challenges?
Yeah, I left the army, had £1.30 in my bank account, never opened a laptop in 8 years.
How do I do this? How do I become great at this job? How do I crack the code?
Being yourself and making that your best asset and your saleable asset is really important. If you can make people buy into that, then you're going to have a really long career.
Go back to just being who you are and the reason you came in here to do this job as well. Always go back to your why and your purpose, and I think you'll be much more persistent.
From directors to managers, even to the consultants we have in here, we don't hire badly, we hire great people. So if you need support, just ask for it.
And I would say, just looking at that year, that was kind of where I found another level, because I think we all did, right? I'm not saying it's just me, every single person.
The camaraderie that I think we felt as a unit, like everyone that was involved in SGI at that time, I look back on that with a lot of really good memories.
Rather than just going, I've been dealt a difficult hand, I almost saw it as an opportunity to go, right, how can I make this work?
Just the relationship I built with Kieran, with Ed, with Kurt, with Jacob, who joined that year, I think, as well. When we were all on Zoom, it would feel like a disaster if you didn't do a deal, because we knew it was hard, so much hard work.
Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone will make you not just a better professional, but a better person.
But the deals felt like massive wins. Like, you'd do a deal and it'd feel like winning an account. It was just,
how can we make sure that not only do we keep all of our staff, we keep growing, we keep pushing forward, we keep adding revenue, but also we grow the team. We add more heads. We didn't let anybody go in my area. Every single person that was in my team there is still here today. I'd say that's probably my biggest success.
This journey at SGI, what it's given me is a lot more stability I've ever had in my life. And stability, I think everyone in life thrives for stability. It's helped me to grow a family and buy a lot of sneakers.
And it's enabled me to move out of a house share, to buy a house, to buy a car, to achieve a level of financial security that I never thought I'd have.
To now, yeah, still here, been promoted 4 or 5 times, on the book that I'm on, living in London. Yeah, it's mad.